Yeah, my name is Aroh. I work in I'm a Microsoft partner, work as a technical consultant there. And we're talking about Power BI and AI with the new features which come in last couple of months. Okay, so this is my profile. I won't talk about my profile much, but I'm the Microsoft MCT. I have an Index VTE as well, and I have experience in Office 65 Shape and Online. I have experience on a couple of things on data platform as well. I'm Office 65 and Power BI trainer as well, and this is my Twitter and blog, which I mostly update on a regular basis. Okay, so agenda is quite simple. I won't talk in detail. It's an introduction session only. So I will talk about Power BI and all the AI features which has come in a couple of months, September, October, November, 20 December 2019, and I mostly focus on the end user insights, specifically for the all the AI visuals which have been released last January, and I focus on the overview only about the key influencer visual and the overview of the decomposition tree visual, which just came last month only. So I will mostly focus on the more in the demo, but I want to just give you some heads up about what these concepts are, so you have a clear picture, so then you don't get confused in my demos. Okay, so I have three demos about the data flows, about the key influencer visual, and the data composition tree. And later towards the end, you can ask some questions. And one more thing to that, the slide deck and the demo samples which I show in the demo, and my blog will be updated after the event. So I have any questions so far, you can ask me after the session, or you can contact me on my LinkedIn or my blog as well. Okay. Okay. So, what is a new investment from Microsoft, also for the Power BI team? What they are trying to achieve is that they want to segregate different audiences. So we have people who are data scientists who have a ton of knowledge about using Azure machine learning. They can able to integrate their reports, and they can do some Python and R integration with integration showed last session. Okay, so then we have people who are analysts who have absolutely no idea about how to make models. So, but you can still you can create models by using clicks, using data flows, and you can also able to find the sentiment analysis using, I mean, everything using UI and some key phrase extractions as well. But today's topic, I will specifically talk about the two visuals which are just came last month, which are the key influence visual and the data decomposition tree, which just came last month as well. So you have a key idea about what this visual does, and then I'll give you all the heads up what actually they did and how you can analyze the model based on that. Okay, so basically about what is Power BI. Power BI is a BI service which you can access anytime, anywhere, and has created a beautiful visuals. Okay, so there are three parts of Power BI parts, which are first is the Power BI desktop, which we will focus in my demos, and second is the Power BI service, which is the cloud service, which we'll show in my demo as well using data flow. And the last part, which is the Power BI desktop, where you can see your visuals on the mobile or on your tablets as well. So today I won't show on much on this particular part. My demos will be specifically on the Power BI desktop and also on Power BI service only. Okay, so any questions so far? Okay, so I move ahead. Okay, so what's the Power BI desktop? Again, it's a tool which is just like a desktop tool where you can get your data, not just non-Microsoft system, but also from your other system like SAP and other system as well. You can easily to analyze your data and visualize. The best thing about Power BI that you can easily publish your reports to external people. It depends on the license which you have, and also able to collaborate. So these are the licensing questions which I will tell you in detail later on my slide. Okay. Again, it's a free tool. You don't need anything. People who have Office 365 E1, E3, E5, they all are able to do download and access the Power BI service. Okay, it's a lot of people ask me that is it free? Power BI desktop E1 to E5 is free for sure. Okay. Uh, so second thing is what is a data flow? Now data flow is something new which came into a market recently, where you can have your own data preparation very easily, and you can reuse your data to and send to other people. Now what is a data flow? So people have worked in Power BI desktop, they must work in Power Query, right? So if you know how to use Power Query, you can do exactly same knowledge inside your on the cloud. So Power BI data flow works only in on the cloud. Okay, and the why I'm focusing on that, because it has give open door for your big data and AI. Okay, which you can't do much in your Power BI desktop. Okay, so let me show what is it actually entails. So if you see it, Power BI in center, you have a lot of data sources, right? You can have a SAP, you can have a Facebook, you can have a Spark, anything, and they can also integrate with your Power Platform and Azure data sources. So what happens that if you have a ton of data, terabytes of data, obviously Power BI desktop can't handle because of the scale. So you can do same thing into Power BI data flow in the cloud, and that data will be stored into something called as Azure Data Lake, something called as CDM. Okay, I won't focus on CDM because it's a different topic altogether. Okay, so there are key differences here. I want to show you that Power BI Pro and Power BI Premium differences. Okay, main thing I want to show you that for my demo, I can't show the Power BI Premium because it's very costly, and most of the partner have no access. But I will showcasing about Power BI Pro, how it works and how we can do some changes in our Power BI Pro. Okay, so main thing for Power BI Pro specifically is the storage. So if you have Power BI Pro, you have 10 GB per user data source. However, if you have in Power BI Premium, you have a 100 terabyte per node. There's a computation logic you can do, but it is on the cloud. That is I won't talk about. That's quite detailed things. Second thing, in Power BI Premium, there's something called as a incremental refresh, but it's only available into Premium. So this is the thing which is are not available into Premium. And another thing which I want to highlight, the last line, that the data flow management within Power BI can work in a desktop and integrate with Azure. So there are a few visuals which I'm going to show you. CAD are available using Premium license only. Okay, so the key influencer and the desktop, the decomposition tree are available into Power BI Pro edition. Okay, it's not tied to the Premium. Okay, let's talk about the two new AI feed which has come to into Power BI desktop. First is the key influencer. Now this is a quite simple one, but some things to factor here. That what you want to do is what kind of metric you want to see. For example, if you want to have some kind of risk or some kind of value which is low, then you can have some factors. And now it is quite kind of mouthful, but I show in the demo what I mean by that. And you can have some contrast. So you can have for the specific rating, what other factors do matter. Okay. And also how this influencer visual works. So behind the scenes, I don't want to work on the coding part, but you can do. There are some behind the scenes. Is the key influential visual using AML.NET and is using one hot encoding and replace missing values and all. So I have no idea about this algorithm at all, but just want to show that these are using behind the scenes some kind of algorithm which is make you insight much better, much clearer. Okay. Again, because it's a new visual, so there are some limitations. The limitations are that you can't do direct query at this point of time. You can't do SSS analysis service currently, and you also can't able to publish to web. There are few limitations, but I knew that later in coming months, the with the every month update, they are adding new features. So these limitations will be no more valid in coming months. Okay. Next one is the D-stop. I mean, this is my second last slide. So the decomposition tree, and this is one of the most sought after user voice from Power BI that they want to see this kind of visual. So again, what is this visual shows? It shows some kind of a data, which again factors in a different dimensions. For example, if you see the sales on the left column, right, it can have you can have different factors about the state, about the month, or about the specific product. So these kind of things can be done very easily. You don't need any kind of coding. It's everything is visually can be done. And the visual inputs what are required as analysis, the metric you want to analyze. In this context, I'm using sales, but I can use some other context as well. So the second thing visual input is required is one of the dimensions, whether what kind of factor, which kind of segment I have to drill into. Now again, it's quite a mouthful, but let me understand. I show you the how it works. In my demo will be much clearer. So the another thing which they use something called is AI splits, where it shows the which particular value is highest for a specific metric, and what is the lowest value for a specific metric. Okay, because it's a new visual, so there are some limitations. Again, I won't. The slide will be with you, but the main thing is if you're using AI splits. You don't have a thing at on premises, which means the Power BI reporting server have no AI splits. You don't have anything on the direct query, and also you don't have a publish to web at this point of time. Okay. So let me show demos. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, Aroh can see.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Okay, so it's my first demo. So one thing to note that for Power BI data flow, it doesn't work in the app My Workspace. It works only in the app workspace. So I have already done some homework to cut down the timing for the demos. So I have one data flow on the tab. So this is one of the customer feedback Excel file which I'm used. Okay, and then I can use some machine learning. So now you see that I have a lot of tables. Now these tables are from Excel. I just converted to as a data flow. If you see that, you can see a brain icon, Now this one is for the machine learning, because I don't have access to the premium version, so I don't have access. I can't access this one. So just highlight that the only people who have access to Power BI Premium, they can create their own machine learning models. Okay, and another thing I want to highlight that again, because I have no access to the premium, but if you have access, then with the clicks you can create a data model. It's very easy. So I can't show the demo as such, but this is a thing which you want to highlight, that you can create a data model with the premium. So let me show you how I create a new entity, so you have an idea. So I create a new data flow. I create on new entities, and I use Excel. Okay, so because I'm using a cloud service, I don't need any gateway, any gateway. So I can just directly access to my Office 365 OneDrive account. This is my OneDrive account where I put my customer feedback. So if I click on next, it will show all my tables. It will show all my tables inside. Okay, I can do some modeling, everything I can do. I already done modeling, but just want to highlight that with data flow, you can access your machine learning models if you have access to a Power BI Premium. Okay, another thing to show you that you can actually use your Power BI datasets in Power BI desktop as well. Let me show that one to you as well. Uh, can you see my screen? Power BI desktop one? Asif?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, good, good. Okay, so just like your Power BI desktop, you can actually, just like any data set, you can access your Excel. You can access your data set using Power BI data flows. So when you click on my data flow, I will have access to all my cloud services and also my new data flow which I just created. I will do all my computations, all the modeling using this one. Okay, so because I already created, so I just want to show you that you can easily publish your data flow and put into to the cloud. Now you can use your Azure SQL data. You can use any services for that matter. Okay, so let me move to my second demo. Because this one is a quite simple demo, nothing to show in that context. I will show you something which is relevant to our demo, which is okay. So Asif, can you access my screen now?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, sure. Okay, so now this is the one of the second demo that we want to show you using the key influencer. Just delete that one. Just want to start from scratch. Okay. Now, what is the use case for this particular scenario? Now, you are your product manager, your project manager, and you work on the cloud service. And few of the consumer are giving low ratings for our services. So how we can help in that? So let me check the data set. So our data set is quite simple. We have some company size table. Then the key table, which is are the customer table, which has the rating, the which are important to work on. The rating and the features are the components like security or your user interface and all, and the geographical ID. The third one is a geography, which is which region the user is from, whether coming from Europe, Asia, and which country. Okay. The third important table is the role of the user, whether he's a consumer or he's a publisher or administrator. Okay. And what kind of subscription he's from, whether he's from basic subscription or premium or deluxe. And the last one, which is quite important as well, is the support tickets. The number of tickets the user is having for this particular visual. I want to see how it works and all. Okay, so just want to, this is something very simple data set. Okay, so what I want to highlight that I'm using the latest version of Power BI desktop, which is March 2020. Okay, so the you see the ribbon is bit different. Okay, so if I click on new ribbon is bit sleek and quite simple as well. Okay, and I can just hide the ribbon or show the ribbon. Okay, so what I can do that they are integration, like I can integrate with the power platform, or I can integrate with the three AI visuals. Okay, there are three visuals at this point of time which are from AI tools, but the first one which Microsoft Power BI team has done is a key influencer. Okay, let's double click on that. Okay, and for us what we want to highlight is the rating. So rating want to analyze is the rating. Let's click on the rating. You see in this particular visual there are a couple of components. We have the one tab called as a key influencer, then it has some top segments but is not data, but what we want to filter is not high. We're looking for the low value because a lot of consumer are giving the low ratings. Okay, nothing much is there because we have not added any kind of additional domain, additional dimensions. Okay, so let me add some more dimensions. Let go for the region. Let me click on the region. So if you click on the explain by, you see the first top influencer is France, right? And then I go to the role. Let me go to the role of the user. You see now immediately change from France to consumer. So top influencer for this consumer is a role is a consumer. It is a very high rating. Okay. Then what I can do, I can drag the company size. I can also use a theme which the customer using. A theme is the feature and the usability. And last one is the subscription. Subscription. Okay, so I click on the top influencer which is consumer in the role in organization. I just click on that. So what I can see a new a table, a new bar chart. Okay, and I get some meaning after 2.57. I don't understand. So to understand what is 2.57 is we have to understand what is the meaning of this bar chart. So if I click on the consumer, you can see the rating is 14.93, right? And the average score is for across the rows is 5.78. So if you have a simple math, 14.93 divided by 5.78, it leads to this particular role, which means the highest rating, low rating is given by the consumer, not by the company size, not by anything. Very, very important things to note. But you also say, tell me that Aroh, again, administrator also has a very high value, right? Very low rating. Why it's not like that? So what I can do, because just want to tell you the difference, that I will go to the rating, go to rating, I'll go to the role, and I'll go to rating again, and this time I just put it as a count. I put it to highest. Now you see the consumer. Can you see the consumer has a feedback, quite very high feedback, about around 24,000 feedback, which is a row rating. However, the administrator always high in the thing, but you will see the administrator has only 2,500 records, which means the administrator are didn't give much feedback as compared to consumer. This is a very key point to note that if you are using any AI model, you have more data points, the more your refined data, more your prediction will be much better. And that's why the consumer is shown here and administrator is not shown anywhere else. So which means in short, that if you have more data points, it will go to the higher data points. That's very important to note there because a consumer is not shown at all here. Okay. And I also have some things to note here that if you want to have a company size, let me go to company size. I changed as a filter. Now you see in my top influencer is a consumer, right? But I will go to the company size with the people, the enterprise which has more than 50,000 people, then how it relates. You see, security is become the key thing for them, in which actually essentially means that the cloud service is not a good secure product because a lot of people are giving bad feedback about because low rating here. So if I click on this my security part and I see there is a 28.64 people have put low rating for the security, you see. And if you see the across all the features is 10.47. So if you do the calculations, simple math is actually calculate to this particular thing. Now one more thing to note here that maybe I doesn't want to show all the things to my management. I want to show the only top feature. You see, the top feature is only security, not all other features like usability and also very important to note that if you want to show to management or something very important feature, show only specific things, not not everything here. Okay, and good thing about this influencer tool that you can have a rating as well. You can have a tenures. I mean the tenure, you can put tenure as well. So sorry, here I can just add the tenure. When add the tenure, you see analysis. Now it become quite big. It becomes the top influencer, which means what is showing that the user who is using the cloud service for a couple of years is giving bad rating because he knows all the in and out about the issues. So it's highly likely to give a low rating for the consumer. Okay, and also if I track the support ticket, yeah, then after that even support ticket become quite high. The reason being, if there are more tickets, the subscription and the rating become very low. This is quite common. More tickets, more issues, and the rating becomes lower. So this is a very important factor about this particular visual. Okay. Now what we are trying to do is we are looking for specific factors like the security, the subscription, the tenure, but we're not able to get the overall ratings, any segment which is actually helping us. So if we click on the top segments, you see the top segments give you some 7 segments. I will tell you what we mean by 7 segments. So if we click on if you the height of the bubble shows the low rating. For example, segment 1 is quite high because the rating is quite high. But the size of the bubble size there's a segment 5 is the largest size. So this is as a size of the customer, number of customers. So if I click on this particular bubble, I'm able to understand this segment what it's trying to do. Is showing the role of the publisher and the number of support tickets and the tenure. Okay. So if I go for any other segments, maybe this highlight sites, you see it is a region. You see each data point is different segments. So this particular bubble showing the region is not France, and the role is not the publisher. So that's the key thing about uh, this visual. Is quite simple, but just want to understand because a lot of things you have to understand what this bubble, what kind of things is trying to show to you. Because if you just show to the any end user, they can't relate what we are showing to them. Any questions on this? Yeah, any
Uh,
question?
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet. Okay. Okay, so I will show the last demo, which is the decomposition tree. This is quite simple as well. Okay, so let's see the data set. Okay, now what is the use case for this data set? Um, we are into sales, and we have to get the gauge of which particular seller or which particular region has sold a specific product. Okay, so that is a use case. For that, I've done some already create some kind of dash calculations, some measures default, because it takes some time to show. So I let me show you the data set. Okay, so this is my data set. So first is the customer list. So the list of the customer, whether which name of the customer and which channel they are coming from. Are they online? Are they from retail? Then I also have something called as a date table, which is very important for any Power BI project, right? So we have a very detailed date table, and I also have some product list. So I have a list of all the products, which is showing about the candy and the chocolate truffle, all the products which I have. And the key table which I have to work on is something this. This is the sales table, which shows the order number, and the customer code and the region. Okay, a very important table. And the last one is the US region. So this is the sales for US. Okay, so this table about which state you're coming from, short code, and also the region they are coming from, whether it's the east region or probably the west region. Okay. Okay, so last I showed you that we can actually directly go to the decomposition tree. Let's now this time let's go to the old-fashioned one. Let's go to the visualization and show into the in the desktop. Okay, this one. Yeah. So if now I can have to zoom it a bit. So I know it's quite uh, short, but if you see there are three visualization have light bulbs. Light bulbs means they have AI features inside. So these are all three visuals which have AI inside. Okay, so let me show you now. Okay, so again, I repeat the use case. The use case is I want to get the sales for specific regions, for specific product, for specific sales. Okay, and for that I have to do some analysis. Okay, for this analysis I will do I have already created a measure called as sales. Let's click on the sales here. You see, I already have something there. It's the same thing which I created as my measure inside. Okay, it's nothing new, but I have to also do some kind of another dimensions. Okay, so for the dimensions perspective, I will go by states. That will go by state names. Okay, when I click on the state names, you see a small plus button. Can you see? It's a quite small, but can you see it? So what is it's actually it's kind of a it's another dimension. But if I click on that, it will show a state name and row value. Okay, you see, it shows the state name, right? So let us close it. Let's close that one. Then I also want to show the month name for each seller. Okay, so for that perspective, I will go to the month name. go by month name. I will also go to the order quantity. Now this order quantity is under my sales order quantity. Yeah, and last one is the product. So let me go to product. Okay, now I will just minimize because it's very difficult to see the meaning, the value, because it's quite longer. I just put it order quantity. If I just put order. Okay, now let's start do visualizing. You are done. You are done. You don't need to do anything. What I have to do, that I have to go to the state now. Let's go to the state. So I'm start with the state name. Okay, when I click the state name, it show a value that each state, how much is created, the value for the state, right? The state California has the highest. It's showing around 667,000. When I click here, you see this is also shown up, right? So now I want to see uh, the in which particular month how much we produced, which month. So let me check. You see, I have done by month. Then I see that the largest from the California, the how much we produce is actually in April. The highest sale is in April in California state for total sales. You see, again in April it's shown up like here, and also unique order is also like that already pre-computed. Okay, uh, then I want to see the highest value. Let me check the highest value. You see the peach product, the highest value for April for the this product, chocolate truffle, is this value is 55,000, and it has unique order like that. And if you see in my bar chart, it has a 1.5 million here. Right? So I can go to the order. By order, maybe I have to go with this. So now I can just drill down. I can go for the sales for the state name California for the month of April, which product was sold the maximum for this particular order number. It's quite unique. We can drill to many different levels as well. Maybe I want to go for Turkish delight. How many items were sold? And in just in one click, you are able to get the value. Right? So I mean, I'm not very interested in this thing. I can just log it. I don't want to have this kind of comparison. I have want to do some other comparison just by month. I can do. I want to do by product now. Okay, I want to buy product. You see, the sales of the chocolate truffle is around 2.5 million. You see here, and I can do by specific state name. Maybe Missouri is how much value is it showing for this particular month, and how much order it has shown. You see, if you see the cycle uh, for product truffle, for the chocolate truffle product for Missouri state in April, how much order they got is this order. It's very visual. It's quite simple. Nothing to work on. It's a simple thing. Okay, so yeah, so I've done with my demos. Any questions so far you can ask me?
Uh, if anyone have any questions, so either you can ping. I think there is one question here in the window. Why is the data table important in any PBI project?
Yeah, PRV. Okay, a very good question. The reason being the data table by default is not doesn't exist in any data set. So what happens that mostly we have to create a data table depend on the data points, which means if I have a date range starting from order from 1990 to 2000. Then I have to create a data table by default. So date table is by default is doesn't exist in one of the mostly data sets. So that's why I put a I create data table by default. It's required for most of the users. By default, the date table doesn't exist. You have to create yourself.
Okay, means big table then.
Yeah, it's a big table. So let me I show you. I show you in my demo. You see here the date table, because in my sales order, the date range I have is from 2015 to 2016, right? So I create a function. I create a function so that all the dates are across this particular date range. Okay, and I also split it into years and month and year, so that it's easy to granularly change the data types. Okay, so what I mostly do, I created a blank query. It is a new user plate. I put a blank query and add the data table here. I use the am code to add this data. So data table in general, what projects have done, data table by default doesn't exist. So creating a data table is quite important things to note for any Power BI project. If you see, if my data model,
Okay,
yeah,
Aroh, there is one more question.
yeah,
Decomposition tree is useful, by the way.
uh,
I think you can see in your chat window.
yeah. 1 second, I should check in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's a feedback, not a question.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, from the license point of view, it's free. It's free at this point of time. Uh, yeah. So it's a feedback. This is a good thing. But I mean, from a Power BI desktop license point of view, it's free tool. You don't need any premium. No, Rajat, you don't need a license. If you have a E1 license to E5, I know that Power BI Premium have a free version for E5, but for a lot of customers which I've worked in, they mostly have E1 or even the Business Premium. So mostly what we have done is use the Power BI desktop and just publish to the SharePoint. So it's not licensed by default. It's not required. Yes.
Okay. So another question is, once published, does user need to have a license to view, or it's only developer's license needed?
Okay, that's a very good question. So main thing is if you want to view everyone. If you have 1,000 users, everyone can view it. But the catch here is that if you want to edit your report, you need a Power BI Pro license to edit and modify the license report for that. So free, all the user have free edition, they can use it. But modification is done only by Power BI Premium, by Power BI Pro edition only.
Okay. One more question. Can we use a parent-child relationship? Example, a company organization chart which is saved in table in DB.
Uh, I think you can use it, but I just want to highlight this, Dixon. The main thing is here that this distribution tree, this distribution tree is very new. It came only last month, so I can't give you the right answer at this point of time because they might have this kind of limitation. If you're using a publishing, for example, publish to web, you can't do at this point of time. So you can try. I have not tried it, but you can try. I have not tried this particular aspect because it came only last month. Yes, Alex.
Yeah, I think there is one more. When I look my Power BI, can I see question and answer and key influencer under AI visual, but not the decomposition tree? Do I need add-on?
No. Which means, Alex, which means you are not downloaded the latest version of Power BI Desktop. I'm using the latest version, March edition 2020. So I try to download the latest version of Power BI Desktop. It will work. It will show you.
Okay.
Or else, or else it doesn't show. Then try to go to the file options and show the go under preview. It will show that as well. But what I've seen you about what I've seen in my demo is a latest version of Power BI Desktop which shows the AI visual, three AI visuals.
Okay. One more question.
Yeah.
Can we connect to SAP ECC directly and pull the data from that
Um,
DB?
Sorry, I can't answer this. I have no idea on the SAP piece. I've not done it. Yeah, so I can't give the right answer.
So,
Yeah.
any other questions, guys? Okay. Thanks, Aru,
Okay.
for the session.